Dagmar Palmerova. I would like to say on the video things which I have told thousands and thousands of times in the last 8 years. I became a target of intel agencies, not officially, but I got into this situation in Australia after being interested or involved in certain things which were happening on our planet. I became interested in what was happening with our weather, why there were so many different opinions about climate change, and so I started to go a little bit deeper into it. And of course, at the time I did not know, but just searching the internet meant that my connection and name became somehow uh, uh, um, got into the attention of the Australian police, and so probably because of that, I was also interested in vaccines at the time, and I thought that there was some connection with possible pandemics. So all this probably created a good environment for being investigated, and I had some past, in quotation marks, with the agencies in Czech Republic, or at that time in Czechoslovakia in 1984 and 85. I was trying to get to Australia, but I was trespassing the laws of Czech Republic as well as Australian laws. So I got caught. I had a personal relationship with the Czech Intel, and then so Australia, of course, knew about it, and after my finding, or after my whatever in Australia, uh, of course they used it against me, and so after coming back to Czech Republic, I sort of self-deported myself, and yes, so there were some dramas. You know it, you've seen it on my tape. So when I came to Czech Republic, nobody contacted me here. I was trying to contact the government because there were these dramas going on, all those cars passing by 24 hours a day. You know, Prague was upside down, and the gang stalking started. The police moved up above my apartment. There were, I don't know, hackers next to me. So since then, I've been living in such environment. I was put on psyop programs of the global intel. So and I was put on the blacklist of the US alphabets, I believe, as a terrorist and a spy suspect. So basically, I got, you know, the classical treatment everybody gets under such circumstances. So nothing unusual. Some if I understand, you know, like, no, because nobody talks to me, absolutely nobody. If I want to get some conversation on this case, like, everybody was looking at me and you know, plays this stupid game as if nothing happened. So I really am isolated in this sense, and I have to guess. I just have to guess, and very often I guess wrongly. I do not understand things, or I misinterpret it at them. I'm not intelligent enough to actually really understand what is going on. There is this stupid game, absolutely stupid, which freaks me out every day when I have to see these people passing by, reading newspapers, like everybody's involved and everybody's expecting me to do something. I have no idea what you want. And yes, so it is, and of course those psyop programs, they have certain impacts on me, so I react as I should not react, and all that. Of course, now this gang stalking and the targeting of my body. Well, you know that I've talked about it so many times, even on a video. There are 2 or 3 videos of me, so I'm really just repeating something which everybody knows. So that's stating of the obvious. What else? What else would you like me to know? I don't know how to stop it. There are millions of other people who are in the same situation. And what else? What else would you like to hear? Yes, WikiLeaks, I believe, again, I don't know, I'm just guessing from what I read. WikiLeaks got the materials which I was collecting, and I had them on jump drive. So I went to Starbucks one day because I wanted to have something printed out. And so they I could not do it by myself. They said that I have to handle them the jump drive. Jump drive. I thought that there were so many materials there, and I was not. I thought, well, maybe they will be copying it. But then I realized I don't care if they want to copy. They just copy it. So so I gave them the jump drive, and they really copied it. And then they sent it probably to WikiLeaks, and I don't know. I haven't seen anything anywhere, but it looks like. WikiLeaks uh, um, um, uh, just, I don't know, printed it. I don't know. I just don't know. They published it, and so the ideas, hopefully, thanks to them, spread a little bit more into the media. But it seems to me that they just were punished in such a horrible way that I really feel ashamed. So what can I do to help him? What can I do to help them? But it seems to me that my case is just so um, different, or so there is something which is not normal. um, I don't know why it is. It must be connected with my esoteric work which I've done in Australia. There were several experiences of mysteries of the universe, and one of them more or less gave me the proof that the universe is theistic. It is not atheistic. The universe has a central reference system, and we have been cut of it, or I mean, our science simply does not reflect that so far. I've discovered that the quantum physics is getting close to it, but I just do not see the orthodox science which would reflect on it. Majority of you, even in the area of alternative news, majority of you are atheists. So it is extremely difficult to pass on certain things which are learned from that esoteric school. And it seems to me that this planet is in hands of people who are connected with esoteric knowledge. And as I experienced, there were close connections between the intel agents, either English or Americans, and probably Russians as well, and the esoteric societies. I do not think that esoteric societies would be participating in those horrors of torturing people and mind control. No, not at all. What happened probably was that the Intel got infiltrated, or the esoteric societies got infiltrated by the Intel. They stole probably from them everything which was possible to steal, and then they just were orienting their research in this field, and the Orthodox simply do not care. They consider it as a pseudoscience, this type of search. But the Intel was much smarter, because they've been following everybody on the planet since, I don't know, last century, sometimes from 20s or 30s. So they were very well informed about this, and they discovered many things, like, for example, that knowledge I got. I mean, those books were written sometimes in the 20s. So, and there were agents from MI5, I think, and then some agents from America who actually joined this esoteric school I was studying. So I knew, or I know, that the knowledge was available to the Intel, and that's why I did not understand how come that certain things haven't been revealed to humanity, like, for example, the things about our planet. That the sun does not heat and does not light the earth. It has been known since 1920. So how come that you don't know about it? You haven't been told. So these things probably play some role in my prison here, perhaps because it will have some consequences once you start to ask me. Once you let me out, probably journalists will jump on me, and they will just be wanting to talk. So, of course, I would not hide anything. I would say what I know. So maybe from that, there would be a question: how come that we don't know about it? Why we haven't been told about it? Then I would probably say that the Intel knows that we do not die, basically. That when we leave our body, it does not mean that we disappear from existing. No, no, our consciousness just separates with that little embryo of our soul. So the body goes, dust to dust, and the consciousness does not die. Consciousness is situated in the brain, but it is not limited to brain. I was twice or three times out of body, so I know by direct experience that's how it is. These things you don't know, you haven't been told, and again, it is considered as pseudoscience. But the agents use that. Intel simply uses. They have quite high knowledge. They are able to walk through the walls. I can't. If you study the esoteric on a deeper level, then you probably achieve many things, like you will be able to read the minds of people without any technology. Well, Intel has the means how to read our minds, but they stole it, or they just use the technology. So they did not develop certain inner qualities which would actually allow them to achieve this ability naturally, without the technology. When you work on yourself, you achieve that, but you are also working spiritually on yourself. So when you achieve that in a normal way, you can't misuse it. You would never ever use it violently, or to torture some other person, or to make evil. No, you would not, because if all your work up to that point would be lost. You would not have the opportunity to go into the higher realms. And I think that that's the biggest problem at the moment on earth, because you decided to go this transhumanistic way, and transhumanistic way works only with the matrix. You can't go any further than to the matrix, and the Intel knows that. But then on the planet, we have these esoteric societies and people who actually spiritually are on a higher level. They have a higher level of being. And your artificial intelligence is not able to pick that. We are talking about the inner octaves, and artificial intelligence does not recognize them. So, you have suddenly this. This knowledge of people who can actually go beyond matrix, and then you have this group of people who are leading or want to lead the planet, who actually have the power to destroy all bodies, and they know that they can't go higher. So there must be some big friction how to deal with this aspect. I don't have enough knowledge. I can't know what you know what is hidden behind all this. But I know that it's extremely dangerous. That the power is in the hands uh, uh, where people do not have enough being to handle all technology you have at your disposal. Look at the science of genetics. You have. You know so much. You are able to change now the genomes of species, but you have no idea that this life on earth has purpose. We have a purpose in this universe which we have to fulfill, and if we do not fulfill that, we can't go, we can't continue in existence. There will be some drama which will stop us. Our civilization will be stopped. It will be destroyed partially. And most of the scientists are atheists. So can I tell you now, stop your genetic editing, please? Will you listen to me? No, you won't. You won't continue with your gene manipulations, because you are so excited about it. I understand that you are excited, but you do not understand one thing, that these genomes which were passed down from our creator can't be altered without having impact on those high octaves. Once you change the genome, even a small change will stop the body to be able to create the inner spiritual bodies or astral bodies, or whatever you call it. Do you understand? Because you are atheists, so you completely discard this type of knowledge which exists on the planet since the beginning of time, but you ignore it. So, do you understand where the problem rises? So there must be, if there is somebody who leads this planet, you have to have some strong team of people who have this esoteric knowledge. But majority of people who are in the opposition or in resistance or whatever, you don't have all this knowledge together. You are confused. Some of you are on the left, somebody are on the right, but nobody actually has this knowledge, real knowledge, which is needed to change the course of the planet. There are so many clever people, and I do not know why they are not used. Why? They know. I'm not the right person. I don't have the level of being which you need for that. I don't have the language skills. I do not have the ability to express myself in the right way. I'm the right person in the wrong time. Or maybe I'm the wrong person in the right time. But perhaps that would be better. I am the wrong person in the right time. So please find somebody who will be able to express my concerns, because I think it's really in the interest of the whole planet, because there is a universe hidden behind the physical universe, which is natural, of course, natural. When I was looking at the principle of nanotechnology, of nanoparticles, I was looking at it, and I saw that the physical form, um, any physical matter, is very dense, and the particles or molecules or atoms or whatever, they are very close to each other. And as you move, as they start to separate and they get more spaces in between, then you are getting to the nano particle section. And that's where the internal universe starts. That one which is invisible to our eyes, but is very real behind that. So now your science is getting towards that, and you have this transhumanism and genetic engineers and genetic engineering, and you are changing the very structure of the human body, which is needed to get to those internal universes where the galactic sun is, where that mystery of the universe resides. That's where our home is. I was there, so I know. Okay, that's all. There is nothing to say. I need to talk to people.